So, good and bad news in the entertainment world. Apparently, Scarjo will be joining the Jurassic Park mythos or franchise or whatever we're going to call it. At this point, I think it's a really, really big mess. I do like Jurassic Park. I even have the novel, saw the first two films back in the day, and even played the Sega Genesis video game. So, I am a fan. However, after the first two, I really can't be really bothered. I've tried to catch up with them where I can, but just seemed like very, very big CGI slugfest. It looks like sludge. And if it's for you, it's for you. I don't think ScarJo's going to save anything, but maybe they'll get a miracle script and a really great creative team, and it'll be back in business. But I have a lot of doubts. My best advice would be get back to basics and try to do something a little bit more innovative. Because again, they haven't really adapted the novel, so doing something that's really intense in terms of horror or sci-fi would be really interesting. But that is me. But as you know, I also keep a watch out on the Scientology angle, and Scarjo is a little bit of a question mark. We can go one of two ways. One is that this is just a rumor, there's nothing to it, or yes, there is substance to the rumor, and she's guilty of double hypocrisy. So, what is the controversy? One is that for a long time, there's been suspicion she was one of the wives that Tom auditioned in the 2000s. And there is a witness, and he says he did see her through a security camera as well as noticed her name. Again, not definitive proof, but there is some evidence she may have been auditioned. Scarjo has vehemently denied it, saying, no, nothing happened. This is just a made up story. But again, given the credibility of the cult trying to find, quote, a wife for Tom, that has been confirmed. There's no doubt about it. One of the wives came forward and confirmed, yeah, that is exactly what happened. So these auditions did happen. This is not made up. Pretty disturbing how the cult operates. And again, if Scarjo is more a victim here, nothing wrong with that. I can see why she'd be embarrassed that maybe she was tricked into the audition and doesn't want to talk about it. But then we get into her Me Too feminism hypocrisy, and that is a little bit more blatant and a little bit more hard to ignore. So, whatever you think about the Me Too movement, they definitely targeted a few legitimate targets. However, they seem to turn a blind eye to other targets. And with Scarjo, it's pretty alarming that she has stated publicly, I want to work with Tom Cruise, even though, to put it mildly, Scientology is not exactly a pro feminist organization. They might think there's not too much here. She doesn't have a strong connection to Scientology. Well, yes and no, because at one of the Me Too rallies where she was speaking out and attacking James Franco, who was there but Mila? If you know Mila, she's connected to Ashton, and Ashton is connected to Danny Masterson. And both Mila and Ashton have gone to tons, and I do mean tons of Scientology events. They've raised money for the cult, they've gone to charities, they've defended Danny Masterson. So the idea of this Danny Masterson ally being next to Scarjo as she's opining about the evils of the male sexism sounds a little silly. And as far as I know, she's made no official statement attacking Scientology at all or its treatment of women. So either she honestly doesn't know or probably just doesn't care. She wants to work with Tom Cruise. Again, Tom Cruise is getting older, but he's still a major movie star. And I guess you could say, well, that's Tom, right? That's Tom's religious beliefs. But no, Tom puts out a lot of propaganda, and he doesn't just say he's following Scientology, the philosophy. He does help the organization. So it does appear like blatant propaganda and hypocrisy on Scarjo's part. She's willing to go after certain targets if they're popular, but again, with really, really big people like Tom Cruise, she doesn't really seem to care anymore. So it's a little disappointing. If she does want to be considered a feminist leader, this is a really big gap in her quote ethics. However, it's too soon to tell. Maybe later she will have reconsidered what her ethics are and she'll be more consistent. But either way, I'm still very not hopeful for the Jurassic Park and where it's going to go. But hey, I'm open minded. I do think Scarjo is a good person at the end of the day, but still, it is a little silly her trying to be a feminist leader and then embrace Tom Cruise, who is got a very erratic record with the feminism.